Hello and welcome to today's video. If you're new here, welcome, and if you've been here before, I'm glad you're back. In today's video, I decided to do it just a tad differently, which is why I called it a workshop instead of just a, normal video. Because I started doing some stuff for the video and then I just couldn't stop myself, so I kept on going. And I ended up making a very long video, unfortunately. You can see that it's kind of like a realistic type thing, and I only use gel polishes to paint, except for the outlines. The outlines were done in gel paint just because you can't really get gel polish to be that thin and that pigmented. It's very, very hard, so I used gel paints instead. It was a lot easier. But yeah, I really hope you guys are gonna try to recreate these. I'm gonna, because I know how much I filmed and I know how long this is gonna be. I am going to actually slow it down. I'm not gonna make it a very, very fast video, just so that you can keep up with me a little bit. And I'll try to explain a bit more about everything. So yeah, it's gonna be a mini workshop. I really hope you guys are gonna like it, because I am working on other things as well, kind of like this. So this would be like a trial run. Anyway, if you do recreate these, please make sure to tag me. I would love to see it. And you can post it always in my group, Ralphie Joe's Nails, on Facebook. Yeah, if you have any questions, obviously you can ask me. You can post them in my group. You can do whatever. You can put a comment down below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you want, only if you want. And obviously comment down below. Tell me how I did. Tell me if you want me to improve anything. Tell me if you want me to, you know why that comment section is there. Anyway, I blabbed a lot and this video is going to be long enough, so let's get started. As a base color, I will use Birthday Sooth on all the 3 nails I'm going to show you how to paint today, basically. And I'll apply that in 2 layers and cure each for 30 seconds. Then I'll remove the sticky layer off of all of them. So that's when they're ready to paint. If you feel like your brushes are still sliding around a little bit, I would probably apply a matte top coat, but I was fine. And then I went in with Jessica Rabbit, with Isaac, Vamp, and the 2 glitter bell brushes that I always use, so the detailer and one of those gel brushes that are a bit bigger. For the first nail, I am going to first, as you saw, I mapped out where my leaves are gonna be, just because I wanted them to be kind of even. And I'm just making a general shape with that yellow, without actually filling it in, because I'll go in with the bigger brush and fill that in, because it's a lot easier. So don't work harder. Work smarter always. Even if it matters, even if it means to go between 2 brushes, it's a lot easier. So it's gonna be very worth it. Very worth it. I don't think that's even a sentence. Anyway, you can also, I went in there because those 2 leaves are touching. I just went in with the clean brush and just removed that area, because there's no touching here at all. I'm gonna show you actually a few ways to clean up in this video, which I think it's actually pretty a pretty good idea. So you can always use with gel polish, as you saw, a clean brush. It just had a bit of gel in, but it was clean enough to remove the. Anyway, I applied that Jessica Rabbit right at the bottom of that leaf, and then I went in with the bigger brush and just a tiny bit of yellow, like the tiniest bit, just to make that blend really, really smooth. You're gonna notice that if you try to do this and just blend with a clean brush, it's gonna leave a lot more streaks, but if you use a bit of that yellow, it's gonna be very smooth. So, you know, again, I'm not the best at blending, but in this case, in this type of design is great because you don't need a lot of blending. And then I decided I'm not gonna go between the two brushes because that's just silly. I will use both of them obviously, but I'm first applying that red, and I'm applying it on all the nails, as you can, on all the leaves. Oh my god, on all the leaves, as you can see. And then I will go in with the bigger brush and just blend it out, because it's just gonna be easier instead of me throwing a brush on the table, going back to the other one. You know what I mean. But yeah, I'm just blending it out now, and you can fix any of the shape that you maybe didn't want or something. This would be a good moment to actually fix it. So, you know, it's gonna be really easy for you to fix things around. And I'll just blend on all of the leaves. And again, it doesn't need to be perfect. It can be very streaky and textured, because that's how leaves are in real life, to be honest. They're never really perfect, that blend between the colors, because they have all kinds of like veins inside and things. So yeah. And yeah, I'm just gonna go around all of them. And I know it's a bit boring, but I left this part really slow because I wanted you to kind of have time to realize exactly what's happening. And this video is gonna be very long, so I did speed up other things that I blended a bit better. But you can see here I'm adding some more yellow in places where I thought it needed. So if you think it's a bit too much red or something, just, you know, add more yellow to it. Next I am going to go in with Vamp, and I will do exactly the same because I learned from my mistakes, and you can too learn from my mistakes. I am going to add first the color right there at the bottom, and these Kirsty Meakin gel polishes are quite great. By the way, I'm not sponsored, I'm never sponsored for these videos, so these are my actual opinions, but they're really great because they stay in place, so they don't move around once you apply them on the nail. Obviously, if you apply half the bottle on the nail, it's gonna move around, but if you apply small amounts like this, it's gonna be fine. So you can see that they stayed in place. I didn't cure them. I obviously cured every time I moved on to the next color. So I cured the yellow, moved on to the red, I cured the red, moved on to Vamp, and then I'm gonna cure Vamp and move on with the next step. So yeah. Anyway, for the next step, I mixed in Void with base coat. I don't recommend to use base coat at this point. I recommend to use shiny top coat, because I did for the other two nails, just because this can be a bit streaky, first, and second, it's gonna get removed if you cure it and then you try to wipe off something else. It's just gonna get removed, so you really don't want that. But I am deciding where my light source is, so it's gonna be at the top right corner of the nail, and then I'm applying shadows in between all the leaves, and in the middle of the leaves that are on the top there, because obviously that would be a bit darker because you'd get the shadows from all the leaves. And then I'm applying shadows on the side that you know, the light source is not on, if that makes sense. And I'm trying to blend that out, but as you can see, it's just a bit streaky for my taste, so that's why I moved on to the shiny top coat, and honestly it worked so much better. So again, learn from my mistakes. It's always better to learn from someone else's mistakes. And then I'm gonna go in with Ink London's white and black no wipe gel paint. and I start to do a bit of an outline. I am just going to add an outline on the bottom part, so I'm not going to do anything with the top. I'm just going to leave it as it is. And I obviously will bring in one line down the middle and then some lines coming out. I will fix that leaf, and actually this is a very good teachable moment, because this black outline doesn't have to be completely perfect, as we're gonna go in with the white, and that's when you can actually fix all your mistakes. So just do the best that you can, add as much outline as you want and however you want it. Do not forget the stem, and yes, I did learn that it's called a stem in the meantime from last video. But I am just adding everything and going around on all of the leaves, and you can see I was really bothered by that line because it was so much thicker. But again, you don't have to, obsess over little details like this, because you're gonna see the white is gonna cover everything perfectly. So yeah, just add your lines, make a general kind of leaf shape. You're probably so sick of seeing leaves on my channel, but I love autumn. I just love what you can do with the colors and everything. I don't know. It's so gorgeous. Wait until winter. Oh, I cannot wait for winter designs. And yes, this is the second way of removing a mistake that you made, and there I used some silicone tools, and you can do that. It doesn't work with all kinds of gel paint though, so keep in mind that these gel paints in particular, they really slide around before you cure them, so they're really perfect for things like this. And then you can see now that that white, wherever you go with it, you can cover little lines. You don't have to make them, you don't have to make the lines from the white on all of the lines of the black. You're just adding some kind of highlights. So just do that. Just add some here and there just to make the design pop. And you can see how much of a difference it makes in the end result. It's just so gorgeous. So again, whatever you don't like that line in particular, you can always remove. You're gonna see I'm going back in with the silicone tool, and I am moving it around, and you can see it's just sliding around. It's really, really nice gel paint to work with, because again, it just slides around until it's cured. When it's cured, it's there forever. And then for the matte top coat, I am just kind of floating it around just in case anything wanted to smear. I don't put a lot of pressure because the matte top coat can do that. And then in true nature of my channel, I am going to apply some dots of shiny top coat in a very, very out of focus way, because that's my signature move. But I just applied some of that shiny glossy top coat just to add some drops of water, because again, it's autumn, it's rainy, and yeah. For the next nail, if you are not sure in your freehand drawing skills, I would Google a photo of a maple leaf and try to draw it with a pencil first. What that's gonna do is going to help you draw this perfectly without the risk of having gel sticky everywhere. And with the pencil you can actually wipe it off really easily, and you can wipe off only a small section. So yeah, I made a kind of general shape. You can see the bottom part is like a trapeze kind of thing that points very up on the sides, and then you have that little bit at the top. So it's actually a really easy leaf to draw. You just need to kind of get the proportions right. And then you have all these little bits that are sticking out that don't have to be perfect. It's just the more raggedy it looks, the better. Then I cured that yellow, and I'm going in with that Jessica Rabbit again, and a tad of yellow, just the tiniest bit of yellow on my brush to just blend everything out really easily. And you don't have to put a lot of pressure, so you take your time. This is very sped up because, as I said, I really don't want to bore you too much with this blending, because there's going to be a lot of blending in this video. So just take your time, breathe. The gel polish is not going to move around, trust me, it's going to stay in place, so you don't have to hurry. And then if you made any mistakes, because this is a very raggedy outline because of the way the leaf is, I am going in with the brush because I thought that's going to be the easiest and most precise way of removing any color that was left on the nail that I didn't like. So yeah, see, 3 types of removal things. And then I'm gonna go in here at the bottom with Vamp, and I will paint a nice layer right at the bottom there, because I want that color to stay very pronounced at the bottom. And then I am going to bring it up just slightly. If I need to add more color, I will add more color. And obviously you need to follow the outline, because if you just do the blending in the middle and leave the outline completely yellow, it's just gonna look like you made a very blocky blending, and it's not gonna look great. But you have to bring it out through all of the little raggedy pieces. This is gonna help you a lot to control your brushes, so I would really recommend doing this kind of design. Then obviously I removed the sticky layer. I applied a layer of base coat just to protect my design. I removed the sticky layer, and here I already moved on to using a shiny top coat, and you can see it's not as streaky and it just blends so much better. And again, this doesn't need to be perfect, because you know, no one's gonna actually follow your outline to see if it follows the nail, the leaf outline. Just make sure if you have something like the stem, that shadow is gonna come out. Then I'm gonna go in and I'm going to do an outline with that black again. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, because you are going to go in with the white over it, at least in places that bother you. So I'm not gonna do a complete white outline for this nail, because no, I'm just not going to. And it's not needed, to be honest. You just have to do the black outline, do it as good as you can, as well as you can, and you can actually fix some of the parts that you don't like, maybe from the shape. And you can see in some places it's a bit thicker. It doesn't matter, just you're gonna fix it with the white outline, so don't worry about it. Because otherwise, if you worry, you're gonna spend too much time on one single part, and there's no point in that. And then I'm going to go in the middle, and I'm gonna do 1 line, and then 2 coming from the top bits of the leaf, and 2 coming from the bottom. Those other bits, they need to move to meet all in the same place. So when you do that, make sure you keep that in mind. And then I'm just adding some little lines coming out of them, and that's all you need to do. You don't have to have a lot of detail on a leaf like this. And obviously, if you made a mistake, you add your brush in, you wipe that mistake off, and you know, you do everything you can to make it look as good as you want. Then I'm going in with that white, and you can see I'm not making the lines perfect. Again, they're supposed to be only like little highlights, so I'm not gonna go with the white line on all of the other black lines, just doing them really gently, because you don't need a lot of pressure and you don't need a lot of white. And you can see exactly as I said, I am going to go in and I'm gonna fix all of my mistakes with that white and cover everything. And even if the white line is a bit thicker, it doesn't matter, because it's a highlight, so it's fine. It looks good. And then I decided to put a layer of matte top coat over this again, cure that, and then add my little water droplets everywhere on this leaf. this is a really, really nice thing to do because, I don't know, it just adds some kind of interest that not many people are expecting. I think clients are so amazed when they see this like water droplet thing over their nail. It's just beautiful. For the next one, as I said to you to do on the last one, if you're unsure, I did for this one because I wanted to map out where my pumpkin slices are gonna be. I actually mapped them out with a pencil, and this helped me so much making that general first shape. So I'm going to go in with that yellow, and you can actually use an orange if you don't like the color combinations that I used here. I just really, really liked it, to be honest. But I am making that general shape of the pumpkin. If you're not sure, you can always use an image off of Google and try and recreate it, and it will really, really help your like eye to hand coordination kind of thing. Then if you don't like something, you can always remove it. I will remove a bit more of that because it looked a bit off. So anything at any point you're unsure, make sure you remove it. If you're not completely happy with it, just don't go overboard and remove everything and then start again and again and again. Just take it slow, breathe. No one's hurrying you. Especially when you're first learning, you really need to take everything very, very slowly. So yeah, just, take your time. This is an enjoyable experience. You really need to enjoy this to be able to do it. Otherwise, what's the point? So you can see I keep on like adding color and removing color wherever I wasn't happy with it. The top part was my biggest and most awful part, in my opinion, to figure out. But I think I did a pretty good job. And now I'm going in with that Jessica Rabbit, and I will keep the darker. So again, I needed to decide where my lighting is. In this case, it's going to be somewhere a bit higher and very frontal. So it's the light is coming from our side when we look at the nail. So I am going to keep the parts in between the slices of pumpkin. Those are going to be very, very dark. And then the bottom is going to be dark because obviously that area doesn't get a lot of light. And this particular slice is going to get the most light out of all of them because again, the light is going to be from our side. So just play with things like this and decide where the light is and just move it around and see what you can do with shadows and highlights. It's incredible. But obviously this, because it's going to be a lot lighter, because you have that light source, it's gonna be more yellow. That's what I mean. And this side is gonna be darker, obviously. And you can see how easy it is to actually create the shape only with highlights and shadows. It's absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to keep that side darker because again, actually it's not necessarily from my point of view, it's just a bit to the right. Just a bit. So yeah. But obviously the parts in the back are very, very dark because they don't get that light on them. So just keep that in mind as well. And you can fix the shape right now if you want to in any way. Then remove any mistakes that you made. There you go. Well done. And cure after this. Come on. You can do it. That's enough. As I said, I like to obsess over details, so just, Then I'm going to go in with Mick and Cola, and I will kind of mix them on the nail a little bit. So I'm going to start with Mick which is this beautiful green. And then I'll go with cola right at the base of that stem. I think it's still a stem, isn't it? Yeah. My English is not great, you know this by now. So I'm adding that cola and I'm bringing it up because I didn't like how bright that green was in this particular design, obviously. And then I will go around and I will create a little loop, because pumpkins have like little loops that they hang on things, because they can be hanging plants, although they are huge and they're not supposed to hang off of anything, and I don't think they're gonna be able to. They like to go around and become parasites on all the other plants, and yeah, they go everywhere. I don't know if you've ever had a pumpkin plant, but they seriously go absolutely everywhere. And then I am going to bring in some of that cola mixed with a bit of black, just because I needed a darker shade. And I'm just gonna go in there where those slices start and just bring that in. Then I decided to bring some shadows in, and again I used that top coat. Then I applied a layer of base coat just to protect my design and protect my shadows and everything. And I'm gonna cure that for 60 seconds, remove the sticky layer, and I will add, instead of an outline, because I thought they're outlined enough in this design, I will add some highlights. Just some little shiny highlights that will make this whole design just come together and just look perfect. So I added just a little bit at the back there, because even though they don't get a lot of light, you still have like little ridges and things that might have a highlight on them because the light is gonna hit it. So even though it's not an actual highlighted area, you can add some of that just to make the whole shape look round and beautiful, and give that 3D effect to it. That's what I mean. And obviously on the first bit here, I added some like bigger highlights, so that's why. Then I added a matte top coat, and I will cure that for 30 seconds, because that's the full amount of curing that it needs. And I think I went a bit overboard with the water droplets on this nail, but I don't care, they're beautiful. And the pumpkin is soaking wet and shiny and gorgeous. I love it. So yeah, I added some water droplets, and I will cure that, and then this nail is going to be done. And these are all done. You saw how easy they were. Well, easy but time consuming. It's always with painting, it's never actually hard to do anything. It's less time consuming and more time consuming. That's my opinion. You can do whatever you put your head to, whatever you put your mind to. My English is not great. So just give it a try. You will see how much you'll surprise yourself. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.